you know, it's crazy because
we're live.
We're about to start.
Okay. I think they're starting to come in. Oops, there's my big hand. Hey, everybody. Can you hear us? We have Deanna, Demorier, Caroline.
I know they're like, that doesn't look like his profile picture.
He's light-skinned this whole time. Hey, Daylin. Okay, so I was running super late, and I put us behind, and so we're going to meet with Zay. We're just in the car in traffic, but we didn't want to be late. So we're just going to get it started, meet up with Zay, have him join. But Deanna's here, his better half, who's nicer to look at anyway. And look, there's Caroline, the infamous Caroline, and then Demorier. Right? Am I saying that right? Yep. Okay, sorry. I'm having such a hard time with his name.
Elijah.
Yeah, I keep thinking his name is Elijah. Because his Twitter handle is what? Westside Elijah? Yeah, okay. So, we are here to talk to you guys about any... Oh, and can you do me a favor? If you can hear me, can you heart or comment? And then can you retweet this on Twitter for us? Please, share it. And let's start getting your questions. It can be anything real estate investing. Deanna's also a notary. These two back here are e-com. Caroline, everything. And then Demorier, he has the chargers, the ones that I was posting about today. They're really dope. And then I think we all can speak to business and marketing and that type of stuff. So, good. Lots of hearts, guys. All right, so we'll give you guys a minute, but go ahead, just shoot, ask us pretty much anything. How can a 22-year-old get started with investing? Okay, that's probably for D.
Real estate investing?
Do you mean real estate? Joel, real estate investing or any type of investing? So wait for him. I'm looking to start running email marketing for e-commerce companies. Do you have any advice?
Probably you.
What?
You're the marketing.
Me for e-com? I feel like e-com's a little more harder than, well, not harder. I'm just not that familiar with it. But, I mean, the way to start is to start building a list, right? So, the easiest way to build a list is to build an audience, pick a platform, figure it out. There's not really, tips and tricks. It's just, be entertaining, be educating, help people out, be yourself, whether you're feisty, spicy, whatever, not spicy. And you'll start to attract people who resonate with you. Hey, and then honestly, to make a long story short, buy Invisible Selling Machine by Ryan Deiss. That gives you a bunch of funnels to build, email copy to use and tweak, put it in your own words. And then, sorry, this is bouncy. And then just follow what Invisible Selling Machine tells you and you'll be good.
By who?
Ryan Deiss. Yeah. I talk about this book all the time.
Guys. Important.
What?
And just to touch up on what you were saying as far as with the email marketing and make sure you be yourself, because people will say that different markets are saturated with too many people doing the same thing. So what you can do to set yourself apart from everybody else that's doing the same thing is literally just be yourself, because nobody can be you better than you. So if you present your authentic self, nobody's going to do that better than you, and that's what's going to make you stick out. So, just figure out what you're the best at, what you like, what your voice is, what your tone, and just present that authentically every time.
I think we're all proof of that. We attract some of the same people and then some very different people. Okay, wow, this isn't even fair. What's not fair? They want to know about investing in stocks. Can anyone answer to that?
I could give them a small tidbit.
And then I can say a little bit after.
Okay.
So go ahead, you can start.
For new investors who've never invested in stocks, I recommend downloading the app Stash. Get Stash or either Acorns. They're really good apps. They'll kind of walk you through the process of getting started with stock investing. First and foremost, do your research. Don't just jump into it find anything, but start off with investing in companies that you're familiar with. Read their past reports, look at their charts, see how they've performed in the past, and then once you've done some research and you've decided on what companies you want to invest in, then you should go on Stash. It'll teach you how to actually buy the stocks, and then set up an auto stash where you can automatically invest a few dollars each week. So I do $25 every week, and it automatically gets invested into the companies I wanted to invest in. And over the last 2 years, me and Xavier have like saved up $10,000 on our stash account just from constantly throwing money in there. So just start off with doing your research, get Stash. If you're more advanced in like the Stash or Acorns level, then go to TD Ameritrade and Vanguard and start investing with them.
So to piggyback off of what Deanna was saying, I think a lot of times people will hear, Ameritrade or Vanguard, and they get overwhelmed. So definitely check out apps like Acorns and Stash, and another really good one is Robinhood. Acorns is excellent for beginners because what they'll do is basically round up the change on all your purchases. So if you spend $2.50 on a coffee, they'll take $3 out of your account and invest the change. So the 50-cent balance, they will invest that on your behalf. So that's awesome to do like on autopilot. You don't even have to think about it. If you can pay $2.50 for a coffee, you can pay $3 for a coffee. If you can pay, $11.80 for something, you can pay $12 for it. So that's a really good way to start. And Robinhood also and Stash, I really recommend those. And with investing, you never want to take money that you're absolutely counting on. So, don't take your rent money, don't take your car payment, because you never know. You can do as much research as possible. You never know what's going to happen with the stock market. You can literally lose all your money overnight. You can double your money overnight. I should be wearing my seatbelt. You just never really know. So it's really important to not spend money that you absolutely need right now. You have to, it's a risk. So you have to invest money that, you would be okay with losing, but don't be afraid to start. And one thing that I always tell people is, instead of buying the $200 Nike shoes, you take $200 and you invest that in Nike stock. Instead of spending $5 a day on Starbucks coffee, you take that $35 a week and you invest that in Starbucks. So yes, it does require making a sacrifice. Who doesn't want the brand new shoes? But the way to wealth is by making sacrifices. And when you are able, you can buy those things further down the line. But right now, so many people out there are probably better off taking the $200 and buying Nike stock. So,
and I add one more thing to that. Getting into stocks is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's the long-term game. And of course, there are ways to make quick money with day trading and options trading and all of that. But if you aren't skilled in that and you don't know how to do that, then be prepared to be a long-term investor. Don't think because you put that $200 in there, you're going to have $1,000 in a few weeks. It doesn't work like that. Most of the time, it's going to take time. And the market fluctuates. It goes up and down all the time. There's no way to 100% know for sure what the market is going to do, but just be prepared to take those losses.
Okay, what automated systems can help in REI? Well, what specifically in REI are you trying to do? Need new clients for janitorial company. Have someone place advert on business door or auto dialer. What have you tried so far? And then we can go from there. Anthony, what work? You guys got to be a little more specific with your questions. Give us a little more context. I want to start my own accounting firm, and I don't know when it's a good time to pull the trigger. I'm only 25.
Right now.
Just do it.
Earlier the
because
better.
The thing is, like, when you start anything, and I was actually just having this conversation with him at lunch, like, the first time you do something, the first way you do something, your first website, your first company, it's not going to operate that way forever. Like, the way I do business now is not the way I started doing business. My very first e-commerce store doesn't exist anymore. The only way that you will learn is by doing. So think about, like, having a child. Like, your baby does not learn how to run right away, right? They're going to learn how to crawl, they're going to stumble, they're going to fall, they're going to hurt themselves. That's the way that we learn anything. So you really just have to jump in and figure it out as you go. So if you keep waiting, like, I want to start this accounting firm, but I don't know everything, I don't know what I'm doing, just go. Like, just make sure you're following the law. I think that's really important. But as long as you're not breaking any laws or anything, you will figure it out and you will get better as time goes on.
Have good customer service too.
Absolutely. Very important. That customer service is like the number one thing. I tell all of my employees, no matter who you interact with, no matter where you interact with them, no matter who it is, no matter what it is, no matter what the situation is, talk to them like it's going to be seen by 100,000 people, because for one of my businesses, that's how many likes we have on our page on Facebook. And we have visitor posts enabled. So I tell everybody, approach every single customer interaction like they're going to screenshot the whole thing and post it on our profile for everybody to see. Mm-hmm. So if you just keep that in mind, like approach every single interaction like 100,000 people are going to look at it. That should make you give them excellent customer service.
And as far as getting started, I would also just focus on getting your first customer. doing a really, really good job for them, getting a great testimonial and a referral, and then just repeat. Then get the next one, and then the next one.
Yep, and then piggybacking off of that, you know, your first customer is you'll never forget them, but it's very important that you treat your 10th customer, your 50th customer, your 100th, your 1000th customer, your 100,000th customer. You have to treat them all like they're your only customer. You have to treat them all like they're the first.
That was a really good one. What are some problems you found and would avoid looking back making money through Airbnb?
That's a good one.
Does anyone have an Airbnb?
I don't have an Airbnb
I don't.
yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
We're not that dope yet. Great content. Thanks. Thank you. Lost my tuition money this week on options. Well,
yikes.
Well, how are you going to bounce back? What's your game plan?
See, so there we go. This is a great, unfortunate example of why you should not invest money that you need. So now this is a lesson learned, and this person, whoever they are, will hopefully never again invest money that they know that they need. I would only invest, I shouldn't say only because, you know, I'm okay with taking some risk now, but whatever money I invest, I have to be okay with losing that, you know, just in case it doesn't work out.
Yeah, I can't impact your, you know, day-to-day life negatively if you lose it. How can I get involved with your team? I'm unemployed. I don't know that anyone's hiring.
Yeah.
Indexes are long-term, stocks are short, less than 5 years. Got to do due diligence with stocks. Okay. With anything and with anyone and everything, I always say, like, don't take what I tell you or what anyone else tells you as the end-all, be-all, Bible, or law. It's really just a getting started point to motivate you guys and to get you to do your research and see what's going to fit for you. But always go with, like, what makes sense for where you're at in life and what makes sense for your business and how it operates and what feels right and good to you, right? Like, I'm giving you advice from my experience, my perspective, things that I see, but, like, it may not make sense for you, and that's fine, right? But it might kick off another idea or it might take you down to some other type of thing that you find. But, like, if what I'm saying, if what anyone is saying, like, doesn't fit 100% or doesn't make sense for you, that's okay.
Yeah, I always say, too, that you should, you know, take bits and pieces of what everybody has to say and figure out how to apply it for yourself. Because the thing is, like, every one of us could teach you everything that we know, and it may still not work out for you just because, like, everybody sees things through the perspective of what they've been through, of everything else that they know. So it's really just about, you know, taking, like, the applied information, or taking bits and pieces of information from everybody and just applying it in your own way and always learning. And like Ari said, like, never, you know, take anything, like, in stone.
You've been cold calling. Okay, so if you have I think he said, like, a plumbing business or something. If you have a service business that's like a physical service, like house cleaning or plumbing or something, if you go on Reddit, there's a whole forum. I think it's called Ride Along. Just look at, like, Reddit, how to start a business, cleaning service, or maid service. And it's a bunch of people who give you, like, the step-by-step, day-by-day website examples and scripts of how they marketed, basically, their physical service business. It's better than any advice I can give you. If you spend, like, a couple hours in there and take notes and apply what they've put in there, because it'll show you, like, results and stuff, like, Reddit is a gold mine.
And I have something to piggyback off of that, too. So if I had a janitorial company, I think SEO is a really great strategy for this. And my mom actually had a very successful cleaning business in Boston. So I feel like, you know, janitorial services kind of falls in line with the same category. So if I had a janitorial service, first of all, you want to make sure you give your business, like, an adequate name. So I would never name it, you know, like Caroline's Janitorial. If I live in Boston, I'm going to name it, like, you know, Boston 5-star Janitorial or something. Because you want to give your business a name that includes, like, some of those SEO keywords that you're going to be targeting. And then what I would do is I would set up... and Ari can probably give a little bit more information about this, but I would set up, like, a very simple, like, information form website, like, maybe include your pricing, where, you know, they can request a quote from you, and then you get their email address in exchange for giving them the quote, and now you have a lead. So these are like lead generating websites, and you can add a blog to it that will help you, target the keywords that you need. And you can create so many amazing blogs based on janitorial information, like giving people, tips on how to keep stuff clean or whatever.
Remove stains.
Yes. Like really great products to use. And I really think that with products like that, SEO is going to be a really good way to tackle that.
I don't think any of us have advice that's very quick. It's all like you have to start now, and It's like tending to a garden. You're planting your seeds, you're watering, you're nurturing, and then down the line, it helps out. So just keep that in mind. Like, I don't have instant advice for you guys.
None of us do. And I think it's very important to note, I think about my goals and my plans and my dreams every single day. Like, I, obviously have days where I have a little bit more downtime, where I'm, relaxing a little bit more, but every single day my goals and, what I'm trying to do are at the front of my thoughts. And I think that's really important, because sometimes, we have people that have goals and things they want to do, but, they only think about it once a week or once a month. And every time they talk about it, this is what I want to do. Like, you have to be taking, steps every single day, and it's never going to be a quick process. What do we got?
There's some craziness going on. Hold on.
What's happening?
I don't know. Someone said, why would they listen to women about any of this?
Oh my god.
Right? I'm like, oh shit, well,
I mean,
don't.
It's not like any of us have made millions of dollars or anything.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Disregard.
Okay, sorry, I lost our place because the comments disappeared, so give me a second. It's very close to my face. Shout out. Oh, hey, Rogue is here. What's up? Best resources for hand copying ad copy at the beginning. Honestly, I'm going to go against the grain here with that and tell you that you should just write something and try to sell it on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. Like, you can spend the next year handwriting copy, and I'm sure that's going to do something to you. But the sooner you start writing and start trying to sell something, I mean, I feel like the more better you're going to get at it.
Somebody, it may have been Rogue actually, but maybe I'm wrong, but somebody tweeted something that was like, this is everything you need to know about copywriting. So I'm going to dig back. I know I have that saved, and I'm going to tweet that out for you guys, so make sure you're following me.
I think it was like Eric Wrights or something.
Oh, okay, could have been, but I know I have it saved in my phone, so I'm going to find it. However,
Rogue, if you're here, if that was your Twitter or your tweet, can you drop the link or what for them to search, the keywords to search?
And one really important component of copywriting is you want to remove every word that's not essential. Mm-hmm. So you want to make sure you're not talking too much.
Yeah, you're writing you're used to writing in school or corporate.
Right, having to meet the word count. Yeah, filler words. But I'm definitely going to find, this is one of my favorite copywriting resources, so I'm going to find that and make sure to tweet it if it wasn't Rogue and if the person doesn't tweet it.
You guys often encourage having 6 months to 1 year of living expenses saved before starting a business. Any thoughts, experiences on setting aside money for the time it takes to build income for your business? What it comes down to, I think, is just growing up and being an adult and saving your money. And I think what might be frustrating you is that it's not something that's instant and can start right away.
It's not sexy.
Yeah, it sucks, to not go out and party or to buy everything that you want, but you don't want to get into your 30s or 40s and you have nothing saved. You have nothing to fall back on,
And you have to understand that it's always going to be harder before it's easier. So you have to be willing to make those sacrifices.
And there's nothing you can start a service-based business like copywriting or project management without putting money up. Also, you can start your side hustle without quitting your day job, and while still saving. You're probably going to sacrifice your sleep, working a lot, but take inventory of how you're actually spending your time. If you're at work 8 hours a day and you sleep 8 hours a day, that's only 16 out of 24 hours you're using in a day.
8 hours left.
What the hell are you doing those other 8 hours? Can you dedicate some of those hours each day or, one weekend to improving yourself, working on your side hustle, your business? It doesn't have to be this daunting, miserable thing. You can still be social and do what you need to do. Just tighten up and get better at managing your time.
Yeah, and that, it really depends for everybody, because depending on what kind of business you're going to start, the income required or the money required for your business will really depend on what your business expenses are going to be. You know, like I can sit here and I can help you construct a plan to start with $2,000, and then I can turn around and help you construct a plan to start with $200,000. So, you know, not having money is never an excuse, because there are so many ways to get money. Like you can Uber, you know, and if you have too much pride to do Uber to make money to start your business, then you don't want it bad enough.
Okay. Why aren't my why are my voodoo love spells no longer working? I don't know. You should get
It's the wrong live for that.
yeah. You need a reading with someone who's initiated. I appreciate the whole group. Sorry, I'm getting like a ton of messages from my mom and sister right now. I appreciate the whole group. Good luck with this initiative. Thanks, Rogue. Will you save this so we can rewatch it later? Yeah, just come back to the same link.
We're gonna email it and charge you guys for it. Trying to get these coins,
right? Yeah, that's how we really make money.
However, this is probably a good time to mention tomorrow we're actually all here in Sacramento because we're participating in the Yes Honey Collective Vision Conference. And for those of you that can't make it, we'll share this information later too, but the replay is going to be available. So if you like this little vibe we have going on here, it's going to be just like this but better tomorrow, because we're going to have more people.
And we're cute.
Yeah, nice to look at.
You guys can get your tickets. I think Tears is here. Tears, will you drop the link? And then if she's not going to drop it, just go to learnwithari.com/yes honey replay. It's kind of long, so. I keep exiting out accidentally. Okay. Just joined. Who's driving? Deanna's driving.
Who's that? They're concerned for our safety. Like that person.
We've been good the whole time.
I think I'm gonna win the hearts game. Okay, Rogue just retweeted the copywriting one. It's getting dark.
We're almost there.
So if you're just joining us, I was running really late and put us behind. And so we're in the car doing this.
So late. It's driver's fault.
There's a lot going on. I should have thought about this better before doing it last minute.
We didn't want to miss this though, because Ari has put so much effort into sending out the emails and getting this organized. So we were like, no, we have to make this start at 5. So this is us doing what we got to do, doing whatever it takes.
See, like, show up no matter what. We're in the car. We're having fun. We have a guest. We're going to meet with Xavier.
This is a real life of entrepreneurs.
Real
entrepreneurship. Problems happen, shit happens, and you just gotta rock with it.
We could have very easily just been like, oh, we're running late, we'll do it later, but that's an excuse, and we don't make excuses. Oh, no! Oh, gosh.
Alright, so I have a Teespring site line that I want to promote heavily. Would you suggest Fiverr for marketing? No. No. So when you're marketing, you want to be like super, super, super specific about who you're talking to, when you're talking to them, what problems you're solving for them. So I would not just like randomly put stuff on Fiverr. Mm-hmm. I think one of the best ways to market right now is to just build relationships on social media. And again, not an instant fix, but the people who you like, sorry, the people who you nurture those relationships with and like get to know will really start to like support you, rock with you, be there for you. We're gonna disappear because it's getting dark. They'll promote for you, just like, you know, because they love rocking with you. So start nurturing and building relationships. Yes, that is like, and then of course build your email list also. From what I've seen in like my 5 years in marketing is that our email list always produces the most like leads for a webinar, a challenge, a new ebook, whatever, and sales. And then next is like a social media platform. And I see for the number two like sales generators, Instagram. Someone tweeted some crazy shit that people on Instagram are just window shoppers or visual, and that is not true at all. I wanted to be petty and just say you're not good at converting sales and go. I left it alone. Oh, we're disappearing. We're almost at the office. And then, like Twitter's good. There's tons of ways to like get traffic and customers. So build your email list, pick one social media platform to master and start converting into customers and leads. And then move on to master another one. Less is more. Any advice for REI collectively versus individually? I mean, yes, but like what specifically in real estate investing? Oh, shit! Like, you know, what part of REI do you want information on? Because there's
so many
different avenues. So, like, we want to answer your questions and give you good advice, but we need you to be specific and to give us some context. No, you're not. Okay. It's like Rogue is in the car, too. Okay, so talk. How do you feel about crowdfunding for business? I don't feel negatively about it, but
I was just gonna say, trust the people you do it with, and make sure they're serious about that.
Contracts.
Yeah, basically contracts, and just be genuine and honest about like what your intentions are. That's all I have.
Don't run off with people's money because Ari will come for you.
Yep.
I'm not afraid of that. I stand by Cashvertising recommendation for copywriting. That's a really good book. That's a really good book. I've read that. I saved enough for 2 years of saving and I ran out so fast. I'm doing crowdfunding now to relaunch. Yeah, I would honestly say I just watched a live from Rachel Hollis, and she had a client that she was coaching that said like, hey, I saved $100K and I'm ready to launch my business and quit my job. And she told him, no, don't quit your job. Like, you're going to blow through that in the next year to a year and a half with like inventory and expenses and stuff that comes up, taxes. She's like, you need to keep your job for like another 1 to 3 years to help support your business. And I don't think it's smart for people to just cut off an income stream like your business where you may get free or cheap benefits, because that goes away when you leave your job, and it's more expensive as an entrepreneur as far as like dental, health, all of that. So like, keep your jobs, keep that stream of income, and, you know, pair that with your savings and whatever else you can do to generate money, and just slow and steady.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
And also, before you take the plunge and quit your job, as you're saving money, make sure you lower your expenses as much as possible. You know, don't be prideful. You can, if you live in a city, you can go live, 20, 30 minutes out, maybe save up to $500 a month. You can sell your car and get a cheaper car that doesn't have a car payment. You know, you can reduce your eating out expenses by cooking out more at home. So before you even think about quitting your job, start writing down some things that you can do to save money. I have a thread on some recommendations. I'm going to make sure I retweet that thread. And so just try to lower your expenses as much as possible, because if you save enough, for a year and you cut your expenses in half, all of a sudden now you have enough for 2 years.
Keep your job, guys.
Build multiple streams of income. If you're going to quit your job, at least have rental properties or money coming in from different avenues. So that way you can buy back your time, most important.
Yep. Don't just say, I'm going to quit my job and figure it out if you don't have another way to pull money from.
Because doing that's going to actually put you behind.
And you're going to be very, very stressed. And you're going to start fighting with people in your life, your family, your kids, your partner, whatever.
You're going to make bad decisions in business. Yes. People can tell when you're being desperate and needy, and like when you really need like the money and the cash, the energy's off.
It takes years to build a reputation, and you can destroy it in 1 minute, whatever the quote is. You can spend years building the value in your business, and if you start discounting products too much, or you start getting desperate, like Ari said, it will show and it will lower the value of your business. Absolutely.
What are some of the essentials to differentiate your podcast starting out? Oh no, Deanna has a podcast.
Everybody's favorite.
What's the question again?
What are some of the essentials to differentiate your podcast when starting out?
I think you need to first and foremost pick your niche. Like, what do you want your podcast to be about? What's your main focus? Who's your target audience? And once you decide all of that, like, what is your main goal? Like, what's your end goal? Like, for example, like, we're in business, but for us, we focus on trying to teach like millennials and making it like more relatable. It's not just stuffy business talk. We make it fun and easy to talk about, and we get a bunch of cool entrepreneurs to do it with us. So really, it's just finding your lane and how do you want to be unique from everybody else. So that's just your topics, your guests, the way you're branding yourself and marketing yourself. Just pay attention to all that stuff. But it's not hard. You just got to put some thought into it and just figure out what's your end goal.
the great thing about podcasts is that there's a ton of them, right? And so I don't really believe in oversaturation. I believe that, okay, if there's a lot of people doing something, that means it's working, and I only need a little piece of the pie to be happy, right? Like, realistically, I'm not going to get every single listener, every customer, whatever that may be. And you can use that to do research, right? So you can pick business podcasts and like do your research, see what they're talking about. A lot of times they do show notes on their website, so you can read through like a summary of what they're talking about. You can make a list of their guests. And so one thing I always see is that people never have enough Black people on their podcast, brown people on their podcast. It's always like the same, usually like a white entrepreneur, usually a female, a mom, or like, you know, a white man, right, who was like in tech or something. And I like listening to people who look like me, who may have had, oh, sorry, I'm blocking the window, who may have had a similar experience to me, something relatable, because I'm glad, like, I found the Millionaire Mindset podcast, because, like, I kept, like, finding people online, like, experts and authorities who kept saying, like, oh, yeah, I started my business because I got a huge tax return, and I just put that into ads, or it worked, or, you know, I just applied for a credit card, and, you know, I built my audience that way. And at the time, like, that wasn't possible for me. So I was just like, well, yeah, you know, that's great, but like, how else do people get started?
And just a quick thing that I wanted to say, I obviously don't have a podcast, but I think it's really important to have your own voice. And I really noticed this like on YouTube, especially like in the beauty industry, because that was my very first serious brand that I made 6 figures with, was a beauty brand. I don't have it anymore. I do other stuff now. But I noticed a lot of YouTubers, especially, well, not even especially people just starting out, a lot of YouTubers, they follow the same script, like, hey everybody, thanks for tuning into my channel, please like, comment, subscribe, I'm gonna put my link right here, or whatever.
I'm gonna do that for my YouTube, so I'm glad she's saying something.
Everybody does the same thing. Don't do that. Just be yourself. Like, and I think this is important in podcasting too, like, you know, just use your own voice, like use your own mannerisms and everything, because people are going to follow you for you. And I think that really ties in with what Ari said about oversaturation not being a thing, because there's only one you. So no matter what you do, it's never going to be oversaturated because you're you.
Exactly.
Are we here?
Oh, what?
Should we continue this in the car?
Yeah, I'll wait till we go inside. Have any of you ever trademarked a product, and would you release the product before you have it trademarked? I haven't, and I'm a little bit more of a risk taker when it comes to getting started. And so I feel like you might copy my idea initially, but you're not going to outwork me. You're not going to be more consistent than me. The quality and product is not going to be better than me. You know, and then you're not going to be able to outspend me when I do ads, or like, you know, am able to move traffic with social media and stuff. So I guess my answer would be like, what's your tolerance for being able to deal with people who will copy you? And then if you're looking for a lawyer for trademarking, I don't know her exactly, but it's Christian, and her username has like chocolate rain in it. So if you look at my followers, she's a lawyer. She'll be able to like direct you and guide you through that process.
And be careful using those you know, like those websites that
like LegalZoom.
Yeah, that just let you do the process. Because I did my trademark one, and I still haven't heard back from them. And this was last March. So go to an actual lawyer or somebody. Yeah. Don't trust those sites.
Yeah. So I was gonna say I do have a couple of trademarks, and I'm actually in the process of filing for another one right now. So basically, what Ari said, like, you really just have to know like what your tolerance is and what the product is, and what, you know, if it's like a super revolutionary idea that somebody can come and copy, like, I would wait to make sure that trademark is in place, or at least you have applied for it, because there are some rules where if you apply for the trademark and somebody else applies for it also, you know, there is a period of like diligence that they do, due diligence. And if you know, can prove that you started your business 6 months prior, and then this new person came in and tried to file for your trademark, you will win over them. And the other thing that I was going to say before Zay distracted me with his loud music.
There's Xavier. Okay, when Caroline's done, we're gonna move into the office.
Let's just move into the office.
Okay,
I lost my
we're gonna stay on. We're gonna stay on, but Excuse the brief commercial interruption.
Good morning.
Say hi to Xavier. Okay, guys.
Hey.
Give us a second.
How you feeling?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Hey.
What's up, man? My bad.
Hello. We started the live. Say hi to people.
I'm good. How you feeling? Doing good.
Look how tall he is. Look, he's trying to tell y'all he's 5'8", and look how tall he is.
I'm wearing heels right now. Okay, this man is 7 feet tall.
All right, we're just going to move into the office, and then we'll continue this. So keep your questions coming. Keep sharing this on Twitter. Give me some hearts. So are you guys enjoying this so far? I'm so loud. I hope no one is like working and trying to be productive. I mean, hella loud. But are you guys enjoying this? Is this helpful? I don't want to get the address in here either. All right, we're just going to sit, so give us a sec. Are we about the trademark?
That's for like my family.
We're going. We're going. All right, we're about to sit down. Demoria, there's a question for you. They're asking you a question. What gave you the idea for the power banks?
Honestly, I got tired of asking for a charger. I'm being honest. And I just noticed a lot of people don't have a charger, and just it's crazy. Everyone, what they do on their phone all day, whether it's work or social media, and you don't have something to charge your phone. So that was just my little solution to help people.
What helped you get started?
Honestly, just nothing. I don't know. I just wanted to do it.
Yeah.
You want the door closed? Let me get started. I just wanted to do it, and I just did it. I don't know. I'm just that kind of person. Yeah.
Okay, so Xavier joined us. So if you guys have questions for him, he's here with us now. Fiverr sucks. You have to craft a good customer profile. So which one of you queens want the pleasure to fly me out? None of them here.
Next.
Someone's trying to get flued out. This could totally be a small business Netflix show.
Not a bad idea. We could start a whole YouTube channel.
We could. Oh, I lost the comments. Hold on, guys. Okay. How do I become rich? All right.
Just a very quick thing to say about that. When I was in high school, I was obsessed with Googling like salaries of different jobs, and I would be like, anesthesiologist salary and day in the life of an anesthesiologist. And as I got older and more experienced, I learned that you can become rich doing literally anything. So pick one lane and go at it 200%, and you will become rich.
Don't let the averages apply to you. Yes. Right? You can always be
do not matter
on the other
all.
side. I'm trying to test this somewhere that maybe this will work. Okay. How many rental properties do you own? That's got to be for you guys. Yeah.
We got 5 right now. Yeah.
Where?
Yeah, they all in Detroit.
Detroit.
Yeah, I don't know. We got 5 right
He
now.
always buying a property.
Gotta bounce. Good luck.
I mean, not you.
What are your credentials in real estate?
What does that mean? Like, they asking about licenses? Like, what they asking?
I don't know. Can you be more specific, like as far as what?
Are you asking for a license? I don't have a license.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need a license to invest, if that's what you asking.
You could probably prop it on the mic. Will that work?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'll make do. If you guys just get in there, they're used to seeing my face. I have some. Oh shit.
Just let me know.
Okay.
Y'all want water, too.
I have some capital credit to get started in real estate investing and wholesaling, but I have no idea where to start. Oh, this is for you guys.
What they say?
They have some money, capital and credit to get started in real estate investing or wholesaling, but they don't know where to start. You guys should book a call with them.
First you have to identify like specifically what their goal is. Like, is they looking for passive income? Are they looking to wholesale? Because you mentioned wholesaling too.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you want to wholesale or you looking just for passive money. Like, what's the goal you're looking for? If you're looking just to buy a property, we can talk about getting a rental portfolio, buying a property, and getting passive income.
But
If that's what you're asking.
for anybody listening, I recommend starting off with wholesaling because it's a good way to.
You say you got money.
Yeah, but just for like kind of gaining experience in the real estate world without putting up like all your money at once. But it's a good way to network, learn the different markets, get practice negotiating deals, and get practice running your numbers. So then when you actually start looking at deals and properties for yourself, you already have an idea of exactly what you're looking for and what you're doing, and it lowers the risk for you. But yeah, I recommend starting off with wholesaling. But if you got capital to invest, then call us. We can get you started.
Okay. How did you decide what industry you wanted to start your businesses in? What inspired you? Okay, so we'll go this way. How did you decide what industry you wanted to start your business in, and what inspired you?
So for me personally, since we in real estate, it's something I always wanted to do since I was a kid, but I just didn't know how to do it. Then my brother was in the industry, my sister-in-law was in the industry, and they would always like give me tools, give me game. And then it was just, from that point, it was just stacking money up to the point where I could actually do it and get my information right until I could do it. And when those two things happened, luckily they happened at the same time. I was getting the information and getting money at the same time. So when I got to a point I was comfortable enough to pull the trigger, that I just did it. And then I guess with the podcasting, that's the industry too, right? I mean, I just did that. That was on a whim. That was just on the, we were sitting around talking shit about money, business. That's all we talk about. And we were just like, let's record it. We recorded it. It took a life of its own. It was our own community and took off.
Okay. Do you want to say anything?
For me, of course, like what Xavier said, but I was always into like the HGTV and all that stuff. I loved it. Like my mom was really into like decorating and all that. So for me, like just anything that had to do with like new houses and all that. Like I love moving and everything. So for me, I always had like a passion for real estate. And then as I got older and I learned the different ways you can be in real estate, it all just made sense. And after I bought my first like rental property and started getting that rental income, I'm like, this is it. This is for me. But yeah, for me, it's like I always had like a passion for it. I just needed to find my lane in it. And then I found it in my company and would invest in, and I just took it from there.
You, sir? He wasn't expecting to be on here with us.
Yeah.
I know, we were like, jump in the car.
Like, you're here.
What really got me into it was, I feel like deep down I'm a people person, and I know I'm not really creative, so I just wanted to find a way for me to help people. It really didn't matter what it was. It just so happened to be chargers. And I just know that's like a easy way for me to build relationships off of that from other people, because at the time I wasn't really worried about the money. I was more trying to build relationships with other people in cities and communities and X, Y, and Z, just because I feel like that can go way farther than just getting the money, because you never know like where that can take you or where you can build from there. So that's pretty much how I started.
The e-com queen.
So, for me, it started really when I was like 14 on MySpace. The very first thing that I ever started selling was layouts that I created with
I didn't know that.
MySpace coding. Yeah. So this was before I knew about PayPal. I'm 27, so I'm not that old, okay? But this was before I knew about PayPal. So what I would do is I would create, it was called div layouts at the time. It was like a layout that didn't follow MySpace's like traditional, like who I'd like to meet, about me, all that. It didn't follow like the traditional layout. Basically, I just completely coded from scratch the MySpace layout. So I learned coding first. In high school, as a hobby, I had no idea that I was toying around with a six-figure job, I guess. I just did it for fun. And then people at school, wanted me to make layouts for them. So I was taking money from people at school. I was designing photos on Photoshop. I taught myself Photoshop. Eventually, I connected with people through MySpace. At one point, I had almost 100,000 friends on there.
Damn.
And I started selling layouts on MySpace, and I didn't know anything about internet payments. So back then, people would send me money wrapped in construction paper. And then from there, because I've been doing this e-commerce thing for a long time, but one of my very first brands, I have a thread about this, so I'm going to retweet that too so y'all can read it. But I started creating resin jewelry that I sold first on MySpace. It was called Love Boutique. And I followed the same strategy where people would send me money in construction paper. And it's crazy because sometimes I would send the product out first. And I had to trust that people would pay me. So,
damn.
Then I moved that platform into Etsy. Eventually on Etsy, because I was already good with Photoshop and coding, I started creating digital products. And this is when I really started getting a taste of I guess residual income, but I was selling invitations that people could customize through PDF. So I was selling edible PDF files. So I would design it one time and then, sell it over and over. So I started doing that on Etsy. But my first real e-commerce brand was born on accident. I was selling cars, and I knew I didn't want to do that forever because I was working 12 hours a day. And I started doing makeup on the side. And then I wanted to raise my prices, so I knew I had to find better quality eyelashes to use. So I actually sourced them from AliExpress, not even Alibaba. I didn't really know about Alibaba, so I just bought them on AliExpress. I think I paid $3 each for them, and I didn't have the intention to sell them on a grand scale. I just wanted to use them on my clients. My clients loved them so much that people would hit me up hey, I'm going on vacation, I just need to buy some lashes. They would come by, pick them up, give me the cash, and then I was you know what, let me just make a website because people wanted to buy them so much. It was taking time out of my day. I was still selling cars. It was still taking time out of my day, too much time to meet somebody. They'd be oh, I'll be there in 15 minutes, and I was literally sitting there waiting 20 minutes to get $15 from somebody. So I was you know what, fuck this, I'm gonna put up a website. So then my clients who I was already doing makeup for started buying my lashes online. I'm out of breath from talking so much. Jesus Christ, it's a long fucking story. I'm sorry.
Keep going.
And so people started buying my lashes online, and then eventually I started adding other beauty products. And just the final thing that I'm going to say is I started off on Wix. That was the very first platform that I used, just to collect money from people that were already my clients. I switched over to Squarespace, and then eventually I found Shopify, which I absolutely loved, and I will probably never use anything else. I still use Shopify to this day. I don't have the beauty brand anymore. I'm thinking about developing another brand. I have several now. I'm in a bunch of different lanes now, and I was talking about this over lunch, how once you just figure out what works, you can apply it to so many different things. There's no hearts coming in, so they're shut the fuck up. All right.
I know they're coming. They're just so into it right now. I like hearing it because I never heard those parts of your story before, so that's always interesting. Oh, look, see, they're coming. Cool. They're just really into it. I'll keep mine super short. I never knew anything about entrepreneurship. I never wanted to never thought I wanted to start a business. Didn't know it was an option. And I remember I was, I think 24, and I was living at home with my parents. They moved to Seattle, and I was in school for web development, right, to get a new job. And I remember I was working a day job also managing a medical device company. And I looked out my window. It was a beautiful summer day. And I just had this realization, shit, I can't go outside right now. I have to be in the office. And then I was shit, I have 30 to 40 more years of feeling appreciative of being able to take 2 weeks off. And there's 52 weeks in a year. So no, something has to change. And so I took an online course. It was I Googled how to make money online. I found how to make your first $1,000 online from AppSumo. I started going through that course, and then I got an email from them saying that the owner was going to be in Seattle doing a mini mastermind. And it was like $100 to go, couple hours, hang out, like drinks, food, and mastermind with everyone. And so I paid, and the day came, and the whole way there, I'm like, I don't want to go. Like, I'm super introverted, homebody. I love being home. Like, love being home too much. And the whole time I was like, I don't want to go. Like, I don't know anybody. And something made me go. And at that event, you know, we talked about my skill set and stuff, and I learned about what like a virtual assistant was. I got 3 clients there, and it was like really simple stuff like managing their emails, keeping their calendar and like calls up to date and organized. The owner of AppSumo, ended up like doing one-off tasks for him, like, you know, like buying him an iPhone from eBay and shipping it to him, an unlocked iPhone, and shipping it to Australia to him. You know, and so like I always had this attitude that like I was never too good to do a job, right? Like, I always said yes to everything. I always tried something, even if I didn't like it. Like, I'd try it, complete what I said I would do, and then move on to something else. And then from there, I started learning about marketing, and I put a lot of my own money into learning marketing. So at first, it started with books and blog posts, and I read everything I could get my hands on about every type of marketing style, as far as digital marketing, business books. I bought like a lot of like used books from Amazon or from Goodwill. And then, you know, I started getting more clients and referrals, different types of projects and opportunities. And when I was making more money, then I started investing in courses from different people. And I never expected a course to like completely transform my life, or like, this is going to be the course that's going to change everything for me. I'm going to make millions of dollars. Like, no, I never thought of it like that. I always had the attitude of like, I need to learn one thing from this and it'll be worth it. And if they had a refund, like guarantee your period, I would always like challenge myself, like, okay, you're gonna make your money back from your course in 30 days, right? And if you don't, you're not gonna request a refund. Like, you're gonna pay for it and make it work. And then if you do, like, great, like you don't have to keep taking the damn course. You got what you need from it. And, you know, and then from there, it just shifted into me going into project management and digital marketing for courses. You know, so like I fell into this lane, this lifestyle on accident, but I was always open to opportunities and like trying things and saying yes to stuff. And, you know, and definitely like I've never had a problem investing my own money and educating myself, whether it's like books, courses, events, coaching, you know. I've never been afraid to like lose my money in that regard. Like, it's a lesson learned. Either don't mess with that person anymore, or I learned at least one thing that's been able to help me. That was a lot.
That was a good question.
Did he create the first model himself or connect with someone that had the skill to do so? Super Balance, I feel like you're talking about the chargers, but I'm not sure. So can you clarify? We're behind in questions, so just give us context in your questions and who you're talking to. Mobile device management. I don't know anything about mobile device management. No, we don't have anyone really techie on here. That's the wall. How do y'all feel about investing in Detroit? Okay, that's for you too. How do you feel about investing in Detroit?
I'm pro Detroit. I'm pro Detroit. I mean, there's no. Let me make sure I word this the correct way. I think as far as cap rates and returns, I think percentage-wise, there's not too many places that competes with it. You know what I mean? What you think?
I feel the same way. Just from like the research we've been doing and talking to people in the city, there's a lot of money being invested in Detroit right now, and it's a lot of changes being made. Yeah. And it's projected that in the next 5 to 10 years, Detroit is not going to be the Detroit that everybody knows. It's going to be a completely revitalized city, which is what they're aiming for. So I think it's best to, if you're going to invest in Detroit, it's best to get in there now before all the big money real estate people get in there and take away all the opportunity. But I definitely think it's a good idea. Just do your research and know what you're, have a good idea of what you're doing. Don't just go in there blindly buying the, you know, like cheapest, you know, properties. Like, look at the city plans, look at what the people are doing, look at the areas they're revitalizing, and invest in those areas so you can see a better return on your investment.
Yep.
And they offer consult calls to help you guys get started and like moving in the right direction, or helping you put together what you need to get together. Yep. As far as being able, to invest in real estate. So what is the link or the website? Park Hill Capital?
ParkHillConsultingServices.com.
ParkHillConsultingServices.com. Check them out. All right, best way to grow your business through social media.
Start a podcast.
Everyone's going to have a different answer.
No, it's a different answer.
Yeah.
And it depends on your industry and what you're doing,
So-
what you're selling to.
I think, like, everyone just, like, give your top recommendation, like, your number one. What's working for you guys?
First of all, get on every platform. Don't just stick to like Instagram. Don't just stick to Facebook. Don't just stick to Twitter. Get on everything and network. Talk to people. Include yourself in conversations. Give value. Whatever you do, it could be charges. It could be e-com. It could be tech. Whatever else she's doing. Whatever else, you know what I'm saying? Just give information. People want to hear the shit. So if you got it, just give it away, and then people will gravitate to you. Or if you don't have the information. Well, depending on what you're going to do, you could be entertaining, you know what I'm saying, or inspiring, whatever the fuck it is. Excuse my language, if y'all watch this for the kids. Whatever it is, just make sure you're giving some kind of value where people want to come to you and want to come to your page. You got to treat your page like it's its own site and bring people to you. So give out game. Go on each platform.
I want to tell you guys something. So I don't really post consult calls links. Like, I make it kind of hard to do that because I feel like I put enough out there between my blog and threads where you guys have at least 6 to 12 months of work to get done. But while on this live, someone paid and booked for a consult call. And, like, that's the power of social media where I can just hang out with my friends and like, give value, right? Like, give you guys the truth and value in our experience. And someone's finding that, you know, valuable enough to want to book more time with me and to pay me for my time to help them out. So, you know, I completely agree with, like, what Xavier said. Twitter has been amazing for me. Instagram, I just started like playing around with that again last week, and that has kicked off also. But and it's really just what they said: nurture relationships, build relationships, provide value, and then one thing I'll add to that is to be consistent.
Yeah. And I have something to add to that too. No matter what platform you pick, whatever platform is best for you really depends like on your personality type, what you're selling, where your audience is hanging out. But whatever you choose, I think you should definitely be on all of them, you know, but some people may not have, you know, the time to be able to, you know, distribute their time between all of them. So whatever you pick, if you're going to be on Facebook, I highly recommend joining groups. I love Facebook groups, okay? Like, if you follow me closely, you know that I absolutely love Facebook groups. I have made millions of dollars through utilizing Facebook groups. I have, like, my own groups now. But if you're just starting out, I highly recommend joining groups that are relevant to what you do. Try to find big groups that have lots and lots of engagement, and engage with people as much as you can. But you don't want to be on there dropping your links like, hey, I have something to help you, check out my product, because that's spam. Nobody's going to listen to that. What you want to do is provide value. You know, be super, super helpful. Like, give away way too much information. Like, be super friendly. Like, be consistent, like Ari said. And then what's going to happen is people are going to be like, oh my God, this is an amazing answer. I'm going to click on her profile. And then because, you know, you're going to be very diligent about making sure you do this, they're going to click on your profile, and in your bio is going to have all your relevant information. Facebook now allows you to link your social medias, your website. You can have a link tree if you want, which is what I have, so you can link everything. You're going to have your website on there, because a lot of Facebook groups, especially the bigger ones, they don't allow you to self-promote. That's a very easy way to get kicked out, blocked. So you want to make sure that you're providing amazing value in your responses when you engage with people, and you want to do it every single day. And then on your personal Facebook page, because people will click into your Facebook page, that's where you want to have that's where you want to have, you know, your personal website, your Instagram, your Twitter, whatever. And especially if you're commenting from a Facebook page instead of your personal account, people will follow you, because they're going to notice, like, oh my God, every single time she comments, she's providing a ton of value. Join several groups. People are going to notice you across different groups, and those followers will come. And you can do that on Facebook. You can do that on Instagram. So I know a lot of you are trying to grow your Instagram, your Twitter account. So what you want to do is do the same thing. Find large accounts and engage with them. You know, engage too much. Like, be super friendly. People have caught my attention, and I've started following them and engaging with them just because they're so awesome to me all the time. Sometimes I feel like, you know what, this person always gives me their time. Let me pay a little bit of attention to them. Yep. So people will start following you. They will give you the time of day. So engage, be consistent, and have your information everywhere. Excuse me.
Natia says hi. Hi, Natia.
What's up, Natia?
Okay. They dropped your @ in there for you.
Hey, thanks.
Take a drink of water. Oh, they said they were focused and taking notes.
Nice.
All right, we answered that question. Yes, this is the Caroline.
Hey, y'all.
A product for a potential e-commerce business.
Anything. You can create an e-commerce business out of anything, literally, and to get big money, what you want to do is have multiple products, because then you can bundle your products. You can have daily deals. You can have sales, weekly. You can switch out your products. So you can create a product around anything. And if you're stuck on what to sell, think about what people are buying, because you don't need to do something revolutionary. I would not recommend inventing a product for your first invention, because if you don't have thousands and thousands of dollars to get patents and everything, you don't want to do that. Sell what people are buying, period. And it's what, I had this conversation with him earlier today, because he's just starting out in his e-commerce journey. Super proud of everything he's doing, but the first thing you do is not going to be the last thing you do. You're going to stumble, you're going to fail, you learn by doing, so you need to just get out there.
Don't you have a guide also?
I do have a guide. I forgot. Yep. I do have a guide. You guys can go to carolinelawless.co, CaroLineLawless.co, and I have all of my products in there.
Her @ on Twitter is CVRLNE, and I think it's linked there also. What's good? Hey. What would you say is the best way to build capital before financially investing in your startups?
I think we went over this question before, but
yeah,
we did in the car. If you want to add something to that.
The best way to build capital?
Yeah.
Man. So it's a lot of ways to answer this question.
I told them they can Uber. Don't be prideful.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. The first and foremost thing, you can't be too prideful. You can't be in your head thinking, well, I'm too good to do certain things. But I think the easiest way, and some people might not like what my answer to this, but the easiest way to build capital for real is to have a job first and foremost. Like if you got a dependable job that's gonna pay you consistently, that's the easiest way. Now, cool. Outside of that, different things you could do, like starting an e-commerce, having a t-shirt brand, just starting it's anything. Like it's a million ways to make money. You can start anything. You can cut grass, whatever you can think of. You just gotta have a hustler mentality and think like, how can I make money? What things I can do to make money legally, of course. As long as you got that, you just consistently. The most important part is because the money is easy to get. The hard part is being able to keep it and keep building it up. So that's the most important part you got to focus on when you get the capital. Thinking, how can I keep this shit? How can I not fuck this money off to where it's going now? So you gotta have a discipline and the habits to keep doing what you're doing to get your money right. And then after a while, it's only gonna take a certain amount of time, so you gonna have a decent amount of money so you can make some moves with investing, whatever that may be, whether it's real estate or stocks or whatever the fuck it is, your own business. You gonna have the money eventually. It's just all on what you want to do for it. Is you scared or is you not scared? Is you gonna take the step or you gonna sit on your ass and be like thinking of all the worst shit that could happen?
You can't even plan for the bad shit that's going to happen. Anything I thought bad that was going to happen, like something completely different or worse that I couldn't even think of ended up happening. And I think part of like being a business owner or entrepreneur is just having an attitude of like, I will figure this out.
Whatever happens, I'll figure it out. And to be completely honest with y'all, like, if I knew how hard it would be, like if somebody straight up told me everything that I would have to deal with, I probably would not have jumped into this at all.
That's real.
But like, you just have to understand that everybody in this room, every single person that runs a business, we deal with problems every single day. And I like to say the more problems you solve, the more money you make, because that's just what it is.
It's really all it comes down to. It's just
yep.
Fucking problem after problem. But you get to the point where you're just like us, where you're just like, well, what the fuck else is going to happen? We're like, all right.
You have to have a positive attitude. Like, even if it's not a business related problem, if it's a, life related problem, you have to be able to just say, okay, this is what I'm dealing with. What's the solution? Because if you sit there and, dwell and worry about it, that's not going to bring any solutions. That's just going to, bring you further deep into the hole, because that's not doing anything positive for you at all. So just, be honest with yourself. Like, this is what the problem is. No matter how severe it is, write down what the potential solutions are, and just figure out the best course of action, and that's it. And be prepared for another problem to come tomorrow, because it's coming.
I'm laughing because I'm looking at us and I'm like, we could be cousins.
We're both Brazilians. We probably are.
Like, we have the same damn look. Should I be messing with AliExpress as a beginner?
You mean for like drop shipping e-commerce? If you're going to be drop shipping, that's one of the options. But I'm just not sure exactly what you mean. Like, if you're looking to not drop ship and fulfill your products on your own, you don't want to be buying on AliExpress. Alibaba would be a better place to start. But maybe if you clarify your question a little bit more, I'll be able to give you a better answer.
Developing site for advertising niche business. Should I ask owner permission before listing sites? Do not put anything you have not worked on or have permission to list on anything you're doing or associated to your name or your business. Like, I'm super serious about that. If you didn't advertise for that person, if you didn't perform the services for that person, and if you don't have their permission to post, if you did the work for them also, leave it alone, don't touch it. That's being scammy, if I'm understanding what you're saying right. But like, I think like all of us can agree, like, don't do shady shit, don't deceive people. Just keep it real and be honest. And if you need clients, if you need testimonials, then take on a couple of free projects to get them. Or use yourself as a case study.
Especially nowadays with social media and reviews and everybody being connected and everybody knowing each other. I feel like half the battle, honestly, is having good customer service and just being like a good, solid person.
Yeah.
And that's easy.
The internet is a small world. And word travels fast.
It is hard.
I'm working on a telecom product. Might any of you have any current experience with that?
What's a telecom product?
What is your product? None of us will steal it. I don't know about the viewers, but we won't. I like it. I like being in my lane. Is there any course... Sorry, I'm trying to like scroll and read and hold this up. Is there any course you recommend that teaches real estate? How do you get your foot in the door?
As far as what?
Right. Like, do you want to be an agent? Do you want to invest? Do you want to wholesale?
There's so many lanes.
Yeah.
So you gotta be specific on what
you want to learn.
Yeah.
How do you all stay grounded and centered while running your business?
You got no choice. The moment you feel like you get in a big fucking head, something gonna go south, and it's gonna bring you to the point where you ain't got no choice but to be grounded. That's how it. At least my experience.
Honestly, I think it's more personal. It's like, if you respect yourself, you should at least know you don't want people to throw dirt on your name.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather be like, oh, I don't got nothing, than try to like sell something that I don't have, because then you just open yourself to mess up multiple things. And I'm big on being genuine and honest, and just doing the right thing, because it's like, I don't want somebody to do that to me, and it's just, I don't know.
Because we'll fight.
But
I think it's just your character. Success is gonna bring out the real you anyway. Yeah. So if you humble before it, man, when you get money, you still gonna be the same person for real. It's gonna be even more on a grander scale now. Mm-hmm. So it's whoever you really are, you're gonna be that same person when you start getting some success. Either way it goes.
Mm-hmm. And just remember, like, where you came from and where you started. Like, don't ever forget that. Like, no matter how big you get, how successful you get, you could lose that all in a day. You could lose that tomorrow and go back to ground zero. So just stay humble about what you're doing. Be grateful every time somebody supports you and buys into whatever you're doing. And just remember, like, you worked hard, you made it to where you're at. But at the end of the day, you're only a human. We all human. Anybody else could do what you're doing. So you're not better than nobody. We all, just reaching different points in life.
Yep. So I wanted to add on to that a little bit. I haven't always been like a super positive and grounded person, but when I was selling cars, I spent a lot of my downtime reading books. Like, I would come in early in the morning, I'd be there till late at night. After I did all of my client work that I had to do, I would read digital books online. And some of the first books that I started reading were books about like the law of attraction and positivity and like the power of a positive mindset. And you know how people say, like, when it rains, it pours? So I learned that the reason why that's true is because, when something bad happens to you, it puts you in a bad mood. And then you're going to find the bad in everything. Like, you're going to see the negative side of everything. Like, whatever you put out is what is going to come back to you. So, like, whatever negative thing happens to you, like, when it rains, like, you have to just shake it off. Because if you don't, you're going to experience like negativity and everything else. So you really just have to like take a deep breath and meditate, maybe like just close your eyes for a second, excuse yourself, go to the bathroom, take deep breaths, remind yourself that the negativity is not going to get you anywhere. It's actually going to cloud your thinking, cloud your judgment. And so for me, like, it's really easy to bring myself back to that positive place now. But I think the beginning, kind of like changing your mindset, is a very important part in the success game. Because like Zay was saying, whoever you are now is who you're going to be in business too. So if anything, like, my advice would be, start looking for mindset books and, start reading mindset articles. I really recommend Medium. It's $5 a month. And you can read a ton of articles on there. If you are a person that, doesn't like to read too much, right at the top, it'll tell you, like, this is going to take 3 minutes to read, 5 minutes to read, 11 minutes to read. You can follow by categories, start reading things about positivity and how to change your mindset.
For me, mindset also really helped. And I worked with a mindset coach for like 2 years after I had a baby, because that was just a whole, like, midlife or quarter life crisis, identity crisis thing for me. I really struggled with like having to pretty much being a workaholic and then figure out like, well, how do I show up as a mom? How do I show up as a business owner? Like, I love just like business and working, but like I have this little person who didn't ask to be here that like needs to have my attention, and like I love him too. And so yeah. Hey, Sai. And so, I like, that was something I really struggled with, and I try to talk about it a lot because like I don't feel like that conversation was around when I was going through that stuff, and I felt so guilty all the time that like we're sitting here playing with blocks and like, yeah, it's great, but like it's been 2 hours of playing with fucking blocks. Like, I have shit to do. Yeah, I've always been like very ambitious and a high achiever, and so that was difficult for me. And I worked with a mindset coach to like get through that and just be honest with myself as far as like, what kind of mother am I comfortable being, regardless of anyone's opinion? Like, what type of mother am I comfortable being? How do I like figure out who this new version of myself is? And, how do I, and then becoming a single mother and just being solely responsible for childcare and financial, like that adds a whole other layer of just like stress and pressure. Like, again, mindset books are really good to start. Just get your hands on anything. YouTube, check out Abraham Hicks. That's more like law of attraction, and like it gets a little like weird, but go down the rabbit hole. Pick what works for you. Dr. Bruce Lipton is like a little less on like the weird side. Epigenetics. But like the first place you can start is just how you're talking to yourself. And so I see a lot of the times on the timeline, people are saying like, life is hard, and then, like you have to struggle and then things get better. And it's like, well, if you keep telling yourself life is hard, if you keep telling yourself you have to struggle first, you're going to create those situations and they're going to be acceptable for you in your life. But as for myself, like life isn't hard for me at all. Like I operate in ease, I operate in flow. I have enough time to do everything that I need to do and to do it well and to make money. And, I always say like, I don't stress out. Like, nothing's going to stress me out. I don't have stress. Like, It is what it is. I don't accept that at all. And, like, do I have stressed moments? Yes. But the majority of my time, I'm operating in ease and flow and not being stressed and, just being able to, like, live my life how I'm telling myself I want to live it, right? So I want to, like, drop, like, you might be struggling in the moment right now, but moving forward, it doesn't have to stay that way. But if you keep telling yourself and reinforcing like that reality, that perspective for yourself, then yeah, you're going to struggle. Things are going to be hard for you because you keep programming in your brain things are hard for you.
And I think people really underestimate that.
Yeah.
Like,
when you guys say fuck my life, yes. Like that,
stop.
Drop that.
Stop, you guys, seriously,
yeah.
Stop. Like, you are inviting so much negativity into your life, and, you know, people think it's funny, and, you know, to, like, share these memes, like, on my Facebook, you know, my friends from my hometown, I've seen so many people say, you know, haha, New Year starts February 1st, January was just a practice, or fuck this, I'm gonna try again in 2021. Like, why are you, like, your subconscious mind is picking all of that up. Right. Don't do that to yourself. Like, you have to be, like, your best voice. Like, you talk to yourself all day long. Like, your thoughts, like, you have to condition yourself to speak only positivity into yourself, you know? So, piggybacking off of what Ari said, you know, I will never admit, like, if I'm going through, like, a really difficult time, like, I admit that in my head for 1 second and that's it. Like, because, like I said, like, you have to expect, like, problems and negativity sometimes, and you have to just, like, chalk it up to the game. Like, it's a part of it. You can't be like, oh my God, my life sucks and this is terrible. How am I going to get through this? Because that will weigh you down and it will bring, like, so much more negativity. Like I said, you have to, like, the best voice that you hear has to be your own. Like, daily affirmations, you have to tell yourself, you know, I can do anything. That's my favorite thing to say. Like, I can do anything. Everything is easy. Money flows to me all the time. Like, I'm very good at my job. I'm very good at selling. Like, whatever you envision for your future self, like, think about, like, who is the best version of you? Like, if you could be the person that you wish to be, like, what kind of things does that person do? And, you know, turn those into your daily affirmations and tell yourself them every single day. I talked about this a little bit earlier, probably like an hour ago now, because we've been talking for such a long time. But I talked about, oh God, I completely lost my train of thought. Shit. I was thinking about the car, and then thinking about Zay pulling up with his music again. I lost it. But no, you're fine. But yeah, just positive affirmations and, you know, just speaking like the best into yourself.
A good exercise for you guys to start with also is to set like an alarm throughout the day, and like when it goes off, write down what you're thinking in that moment and start paying attention to like how you're talking to yourself, the things that you're thinking and are on your mind. Once you become aware of it and like really like start to like calculate and quantify the things you're saying to yourself, you know, then it's going to be easy for you to change it. Because when you stop and think about it, like if you haven't done this, like, you know, type of mindset work on yourself, is like, we're really mean to ourselves. Like, we really say some shitty stuff to ourselves. Yeah. And like, it's something you would never say to somebody else, but you're talking to yourself like shit. Yep. You know? So it's like, yeah, no wonder why your whole month sucks. You've been beating yourself up, verbally abusing yourself for years.
And one more thing that I want to say before we jump to the next question. A lot of people say, you know, I have the best ideas when I'm in the shower. If that's you, the reason you have a lot of ideas in the shower is because you don't have your phone and you're not distracted. So try to meditate. Like, I promise you, if you sit down in silence for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, I'd love to do it on a balcony with like the sound of the wind, the sound of the birds. You can put on white noise. You can do it in silence. It sounds crazy. Like, I used to say, like, I'm never going to be the type of person that meditates. Like, what is that going to do for me? No way. It's magic, you guys. Like, if you have good ideas in the shower, meditate, and I swear to you, those ideas will flow.
I'm not a meditator, but
you need to try. We're meditators.
I'm not a big meditator, but there are things that will get me into, like, a meditative, like, almost like trance or energy and stuff. So for me, that's, like, calligraphy or, like, just, like, doing something with my hands, like, crafty. And it's, like, it just helps my mind to, like, shut off. I put the phone down. I get out of the room with, like, any technology. Like, never really have TVs on or anything. But, you know, I get away from technology and I start doing something with my hands. And some people, it might be journaling, right? Like, I'm not a big journaler either. But, you know, if you can, like, do stuff that, like, gets you into, like, a meditative state also, like, that can be a good place to start also.
Yeah. I would say also, I think me personally, people should be more mindful about the music they listen to, because sometimes the message might not be matching on what you're trying to get to.
Mm-hmm.
And
subconscious mind don't know the difference.
Subconscious.
Exactly.
That's what I was gonna
Yeah.
say. Yep.
so like
Zay
it's
said
just-
your self-conscious doesn't know the difference
Sub-
between.
Subconscious.
Sorry. What did I say?
We knew what you meant. Self-conscious.
So yeah, it's just, you know, be mindful about music. If you trying to get money the legal way and do it right, then you probably should listen to, I don't know, rappers or rock star, whatever you listen to.
I have a
It's not
money
that hard.
manifestation playlist. Like I play that when I'm trying to get to work, like when I want to feel like a rich drug lord. Like I have a playlist for that.
Oh shit.
I have my turn down, relax playlist. Like make yourself some good playlists. Keep adding to it all the time. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. and steal your light.
All right, so Ari, I know you are also a fellow Asana addict. Have you checked out or considered Notion? No.
Oh, I saw Adrian talk about that.
Yes, Adrian likes Notion. I am very much so, like, when a tool works for me, I'm just going to master it and keep using it. I don't like to get distracted by too many other different things, because then I feel like, ugh, you're not making progress. Like, you're moving here, you're moving there, you're trying to make this work, connect this to that. So, like, it takes a lot for me to actually try a new platform and, like, move to it and use it. Like, I'm very, like, stubborn in that way. But no, I haven't used Notion.
40 new messages. Let's
Jesus,
get to
I
these.
know.
People are like, let me close out because you're not even answering my questions.
If you guys are enjoying this, make sure to like give hearts and stuff so we can see you're still here. And then if you can keep sharing it on Twitter, that'd be great also.
You know what? Please share this. At the end, I'm going to pick somebody who retweets this, and I'm going to give one of y'all my entire e-commerce package that I sell for almost $300.
Oh,
so
shit. Okay.
retweet this for a chance to win.
I'll add to that, and I'll give another person a free 30-minute consult call with
Okay,
me
here we
also.
go.
Wish I could watch the whole live, but I'm in class.
We should
Please.
upload this to you.
Yeah, that was why we were coming here originally. I didn't think this would take so long. Can I put things I created for my 9 to 5 on my blog? If I'm selling a similar service? 2 questions, sorry. You can put whatever you want on your blog as long as your job won't sue you for it.
From her video.
But I think talking about like your job, how you got into your job, how to do your job successfully, that's a really good start for you guys to create content around for your blog, for social media. Like, not everybody wants to be in tech. Not everybody wants to own their own business, right? Maybe they want to do what you do. And so, you know, by sharing about how you do what you do and what, you know, how you do it well or how you got started, honestly, I'll give you guys a tip here. Some of my best performing content has been how to get started in something.
Yep. And just a quick thing, were you answering the 9 to 5 question?
Yeah, this
Okay, I
one.
missed the beginning of that because I was telling him something. But just be careful. I don't know what you do for your 9 to 5, but like if you create content for your job, you may have something in your employment contract that says you can't share that. So technically, as an employee, everything you create belongs to your employer. So legally, you may not be able to sell that depending on what it is.
That's real.
Can Elijah explain how he was able to drop ship an electronic product as advanced as a solar power bank?
For me, it was just real easy where
So low key.
well, so I started off on AliExpress where I was looking for a product, and I'm sorry, I lost track of the question.
How were you able to drop ship an electronic product as advanced as a solar power bank?
First of all, you can drop ship anything.
Yeah, I'm like,
So-
But I
that's a
think
good
what
point.
he's asking is like
Well,
that's
program-
something that like is kind of like a big deal. You know, it's not just like, not to like downplay anyone's eyelashes or anything, but like lashes you can easily send to yourself, check it out. But like a power bank, you have to
Oh.
make sure like that's like right.
Okay,
you know.
okay, I get what you're saying.
I don't know if that's what they're saying, but that's what I took from it.
So with that was I suggest people to do their research on whatever they're selling, because just because you getting it from another country or you send it to another country might not be okay with that other country that is going through, just because other countries have different customs. So for example, like with power banks and stuff like that, you need to wrap it up. You just can't have it out and about. It needs to be packaged the correct way. I think I'm answering the question. And then the other version, what I think you were answering before, there's an app on Shopify. It's free. It's called Oberlo. I use that personally. It helps you track your sales, help you track like the profit, I guess, difference. And it just makes everything easy because it consolidates your store. So when people purchase, if you're drop shipping, when people purchase, it connects it to Overload, which connects it to your manufacturer for whatever you're doing, and it makes everything easy in one like sweep because you got the address of the person who's purchasing, you're getting the money wherever you're going through, whether it's PayPal, X, Y, and Z. All you have to do is pretty much click a couple buttons. It takes you to that manufacturer's website. It'll do its course, or it just runs you through it, and it'll put the address X, Y, and Z. And after that, it'll purchase, and that's about it. That's for me because I like to keep things simple. I don't like to, I guess, I don't know, like break it down and try to do my own thing. I just like to keep it simple. So then when something happens, it makes it easier for me to backtrack on what happened.
Oh yeah, Tara's mobile home guide. Go to For Stackers Only. That's she has a ton of information on her site about all these different industries to get started in. Hey Juliet.
Hey Juliet.
Who's that?
Trying to see who that was that said hey.
Who's that other god in the room? Well, there's Demorier, right?
Yes.
AKA Elijah.
Right,
I keep wanting to say Elijah. It's stuck in my
I
head.
always want to call you Z.
And there's
then I don't know
Z.
if I can say X
You
or.
said it was X, Z, Z, Z.
What are some of your favorite digital marketing courses or books? If you Google Twitter Advanced Search and click that first link, and then type in marketing or digital marketing, and then scroll down, like, or you can put like tweets from this person and put my @ a bunch of stuff will pop up. You can go to learnwithari.com/books, and I have a list for like marketing, business, mindset, all different types of categories. Those are the best places to start. But I love anything Seth Godin. I think everyone should read Invisible Selling Machine. .com Secrets by Russell Brunson is good. And these aren't like the end all be all like of marketing books, digital marketing books, but they'll give you like a really solid core foundation for like getting started and like taking the right steps. This is Marketing by Seth Godin. That's one of my favorite marketing
All his
books.
books,
Yeah,
honestly.
I love him. Seth Godin and Andre Chaperone, those are my two favorite marketers because they're huge on permission-based marketing. So it's like only marketing to people who have raised their hand and like shown you they're super interested in like what you have to say and what you have to offer. Like you're not going to see me telling people to like drop your link under a viral post. Like I don't believe in that personally. I don't believe in like interrupting conversations to like pitch my shit. It's not my style, you know? I feel like in the long run it hurts. You're not going to see me encourage you to like do bots and like, you know, jump in people's inbox, you know, selling them stuff either. It's just not my style. I don't recommend it for the long term, you know? And I think if you're going to be on social media, you need to be social. I'll probably never outsource my engagement. I will probably always do that myself. And, you know, tips for that are just like every time someone who's following me, because I changed my settings again, where if you're not following me, I can't see you're trolling and shit.
You're so bipolar with
Yeah.
Twitter.
Anyone who's following me and like leaves a comment, I make sure to reply to them. You know, it's getting a little bit harder now to see everybody and to keep up with everybody.
It also helps engagement rates.
Yeah. And I just recently turned my DMs on, but I will ask you guys, like, before you ask me something, like, Google it and come to me with, like, the 3 things you found, right? Most of the time you'll answer your own question. But yeah, that's, you know, just to answer that question. How long would you estimate starting up a real estate business as a broker would take?
As a broker? Like
Yeah.
owning your own broker?
Yeah.
No.
How long would you estimate starting up a real estate business as a broker would
Okay.
take?
So it varies by state. For California, if I'm not mistaken, you have to be a licensed real estate agent. I want to say 2 years, and then you have to take a test and do continuing education in order to become a broker. So for California, you're looking at about 2 years before you could have your own brokerage. But
It's like similar.
yeah,
in
do
most
your
states, too.
do your research. It varies state to state, but each state has their own requirements. But first and foremost, you will have to get experience being a real estate agent.
Deanna, how did you get started in wholesaling?
I won't say I'm a big wholesaler. I prefer going in the rental property route, but it's not hard, honestly. Pick a a farm area or a market that you want to wholesale in, first and foremost, get to know the area, drive around through the neighborhood, get to know it, and then from there you will it's 2 ways you can go about it. You can drive around, which is called driving for dollars, and then you can go search for typically distressed properties, and then you can pull the owner's information off of, White Pages or whatever it's called, Yellow Pages or something, and call them and see if they're interested in selling their home. Or you can always pull leads offline using Skip Trace or something like that. You can just put in your market or your farm area, put in all the details and pull the information, and then you can call the owners of all these houses just via phone. So if you're comfortable with cold calling, you can do it that way. Or if you rather drive around for dollars and search for the homes, you could do it that way. But once you pretty much find somebody who's willing to sell their house, then you just negotiate the deal, find a buyer, and that's pretty much the process in its simple form.
Are there any YouTubers or YouTube accounts that inspired or motivated you or helped you with building discipline?
YouTube account?
I'm not a big YouTube watcher.
You don't watch YouTube.
So I grew up, my dad, he raised me as a Marine, and my mom's Latin. And so we grew up in a house that was very strict. And like we had rules, we had discipline, we had that structure. So I've never looked for like an outside source for like discipline or motivation. I just tell myself, like, get your ass up and do what you got to do. Handle it, you know? Like I put that responsibility on myself, and I don't wait to like feel like doing anything. I just look at my list and like, that's what I need to do, right? I'm not sitting around like waiting to feel inspired, waiting to, you know, looking for someone else, you know, to inject that in me. It's just like at the end of the day, you know what you need to do. We're adults. Get your ass up and do it. But like I'm not someone who sugarcoats things. I'm very blunt. I'm very straightforward, and so like I'm used to that. I can be that way with myself. I don't like if you're more of like a sensitive person, that probably rubs you the wrong way. But I also don't like know what else to tell you. At some point, you have to take, you know, responsibility for yourself and get what you need to get done.
Take responsibility for yourself today.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and you got like 2 people. Were you guys in the Army?
Air Force.
Air Force.
Yeah.
Air Force and military. So we got like more super structured.
Yeah.
You
He's
and
in the
then
military.
yeah.
Right,
So
you know,
that's the wrong group of people. That question.
Teaches you
We gotta get through these.
Yeah.
We're like almost 2 hours in.
How do you find the best accountants and tax preparers for business? What time is it also?
6:32.
So like maybe we go for like 10 more minutes. We'll just get through what we can for like the next 10, 15 minutes, and then, you know, just at whoever you want to. And I'm not promising they'll answer, but maybe. How do you find the best accountants and tax preparers? I go by referral and then making sure like they're not ripping me off. And I also don't rely on anyone to pay things for me. I make that transfer and I make sure it goes through and I get that confirmation number. And I'm always looking at my numbers. I don't ever just hand something off and not monitor it. I'm like obsessive about that. How about you guys?
referrals.
Yeah, I was gonna say
referrals. That's the biggest thing.
And that's why, let that be a lesson as to why customer service is so important, because people will talk about your business and they will refer you or they'll tell their friends and their family about why they should never do business with you.
Y'all getting drunk later tonight?
Hey, you were in my mind. You know what I'm saying?
Oi, Steven!
Steve.
Stay blessed, y'all. Okay, I think we're getting to the end of the questions.
All right, you guys, get your final questions in because we have a few more minutes.
Just share by retweeting and I get a chance to win Caroline's packages.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I threw in a free 30-minute consult call with you.
And if you don't win it, I'm having a sale tomorrow in honor of our conference.
Oh, yes. Keep an eye out. Does anyone have experience house hacking?
No, I don't. I mean,
Do you
I
wanna know how to do
live
it?
in California, so.
Do you want to know how to do it? Is that?
Jay, are you asking like how to house hack? Would you recommend creating an ebook in addition to blog to package and sell your expertise content? I recommend creating things that your audience is telling you they want from you. And the best way to do that is to build an audience and then survey them and pay attention and catalog every single question they ask you.
So for me, I just started really taking Twitter seriously in February. I've gained all my followers since then. I started with 500 followers in February. I haven't created new content in a really long time, but that's how I started. Like, through my tweets, I would literally just ask people, like, what do you want to learn from me? How can I serve you? How can I help? And from the answers that I got is how I developed my products to offer people. I do definitely think you should, create an ebook, monetize yourself, your platform. You deserve to be paid for the information that you know. However, I wouldn't necessarily start with just an ebook because you need to earn people's trust. So, start talking, whether it's on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or whatever platform you choose, start talking about your topic. And then, eventually people will have more questions and you can dive in deeper in your paid content.
Does anyone have advice for YouTubers? Not yet.
Not yet. Maybe about 6 months.
I was going to say, y'all too, Ari and I, we're jumping into YouTube this year. So ask us again next year.
Again very soon.
Putting my foot in everything.
I want all the coins.
Do you guys do Facebook ads? Not yet.
Yes.
Caroline does.
So yeah, sometimes.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a specific question about Facebook ads? Quickly. Any advice on down payments or down payment assistance? I feel like it's a bad idea.
On what?
Property, I'm assuming.
Can you clarify, like, on a down payment for what, Pearl? Where are y'all at? An office building. Yes, we're at...
Park Hill Capital Ventures.
Yep. Down payment for investments.
On the house? A property?
What type of investment?
Be specific, y'all, please.
I just logged on and want to know what age y'all started y'all journey on. It was like 24, 25 for me.
I was about 13, 14.
21.
19. I started.
What they mean by journey?
Like entrepreneurship
Okay.
stuff.
I went through like several different phases. I can't
Right.
give y'all like I started my first business when I was like 6 years old. I was selling Kool-Aid and Ziploc bags for $1,000. I used to make a lot of money doing that shit.
We need an episode on him.
That was my first business. Then after that, I was selling like chips. Then after that, it got to some other things like that's not legal. But it came back around to entrepreneurship. As when I was 24. 22. Yeah, 24. I'm 26.
Yeah, how old is everyone? Today's 26.
I'm 26.
I'm 23.
I'm 23.
27.
I'm 30.
We all young.
You're like the old lady in the group.
group.
What are some tips for someone who just got their real estate license?
For someone who just got their real estate license, I would say first and foremost, start getting yourself out there. Get out of your comfort zone. I would recommend like doing open houses every single weekend and choosing a specific area you want to farm in, and that's just pretty much an area like where you want to be the known realtor for the neighborhood where everybody goes to you. So you got to make yourself known. So start doing open houses in that specific area every weekend. Start door knocking, going around the neighborhood, introducing yourself, letting everybody know you are a real estate agent. You could send out postcards, you could leave little gifts on their doorstep, whatever it is you got to do. Get involved in the community. The more people that know you're a realtor, the better. So get involved. Focus on your digital marketing is a huge one. A lot of realtors are getting online, social media, and it's a good way to connect with people. So I will focus on that. Taking your marketing very seriously and just getting to know people and learning as much as possible. Just because you got your license doesn't mean you stop learning. So start practicing doing contracts. Find you a mentor if you can invest the money into that. Sometimes it can be really expensive, but find a good mentor. YouTube, your broker, if you have a really good broker, they should have a bunch of training materials that can help you out a lot. But know your stuff. Prioritize your time and what you're doing throughout the day and getting to know your community and putting yourself out there.
That was good advice. Best copywriting resource that helped you most when you were learning. Oh, crap. How do you guys navigate the BBB?
I was going to answer this one. That's why
I was like, I don't.
It really depends what exactly you mean by that. But a lot of people ignore the BBB because they think it's not important and like they don't care if they have an F rating on there. But people are going to Google your business. People want to know if they can trust your business or not, whether you're offering a service, especially if you're offering a service, or if you're offering a product. If you receive something negative on there, and most of the times people are quicker to post a negative review on the BBB than a positive one. So I will give my customers, first of all, once a month, I say, like, hey guys, it's like time to do reviews. And I offer my customers, whether it's a sale or a giveaway or incentives for them to leave. I never ask for positive reviews. I always ask for honest reviews, but they're usually always positive because, I make sure to conduct business in that manner. And then I will give them links on where I want them to post their reviews. So one month I might focus on the BBB. So literally ask people to provide honest reviews on Google or Facebook or the BBB. And then if you receive something negative on there, don't ever ignore it. They always give you the option to reply. And you're doing your best to conduct business in a good way, but you always have customers that are difficult. Hopefully you don't run into them too much, but you will. So if they take to the BBB to give you, a terrible review, you want to make sure you come back very professionally and explain what happened so that your future potential customers that are reading this will be like, oh, okay, now I understand. Like, they sent this guy the product 3 times and he kept finding something wrong with it, or whatever it is. Like, always explain your side of the story, but don't be a smart ass. People don't like that. Always be super professional. And remember what I said earlier about pretending, or not pretending, but assuming that 100,000 people will see every single interaction you have with every single customer.
Best copywriting resource that helped you most when you were learning?
We answered this one already. Let's not answer the same questions over and over because we're going to be here all day.
Just watch a little bit earlier.
Watch the live.
What would you tell your 18-year-old self?
Take money seriously. Take finances seriously immediately. The earlier you take it serious, the earlier you save money, the better you'll be later on. By the time you're 25, 26, 27, if you're in the right position, you've been saving a decent amount, you've been investing, you'll be in a real good position. That's probably the best advice that I could give anybody that's 18.
I would tell my 18-year-old self, be comfortable embracing who you are. Because around that age, we all get subject to peer pressure. We start to follow paths that are not who we truly feel we are. We follow a lot of other people's lead. And that could just send you down the wrong direction, especially if you're not a strong enough person to pull yourself out of that. So I would say just embrace who you are. Be comfortable with who you are. Don't feel like you have to be anybody else, especially with the way social media can be these days, trying to make you feel like you're not good enough or that you should be doing something different with yourself. If there's something that you like and that you're passionate about, do it. Who cares what anybody else says? Just be yourself, be happy, and let your peace be your main focus. Just don't get so caught up in everything else. You got a long life to live, and take your time. Don't rush, and just be comfortable with yourself.
I would definitely say, do not feel like the pressure is just something that is going to be forever. If you have to read something, read it again. If you still don't understand it, read it again. And you still don't understand it, go ask somebody and Google it. I would also tell myself, like Xavier said, take money seriously. And literally if you don't give someone money if you know they can't pay you back. And 9 out of 10 chance you know the answer to that question. And
or gift it.
Right.
Just gift it.
Yeah, know the difference. Know the difference. Because sometimes you might accidentally gift not realizing you did it. Just out of your heart. And just, keep being honest. Because, people might not like everything you say, but at least they know where you stand. Mm-hmm. And they'll respect you for that. They might not like you, but they're going to respect you. And they're not going to cross that line. So I'll say just, keep going and do the right thing. Me personally.
Definitely everything that they said. If I could go back and tell my 18-year-old self something, it would have to be buy Bitcoin. But I can't do that right now. But definitely be smart with your money. So when I was 18, I had a pretty good job at that time. And then I got pregnant, had a kid. I had a pretty good job at the time. I went and I bought a brand new car. And then I had a kid. I had expenses that were more important. I could no longer afford that car payment. So I actually got my car repossessed. And that really screwed up my credit for many, many years. It was really hard to bounce back from that. So don't buy a brand new car. Like, a lot of times when we're 18, we want to prove that we have like a higher financial status. Don't do that. Like, you need to humble yourself, because the more you try to prove that you have money, the less money you're going to have. Like, invest, definitely be humble. Don't be out here spending money like on clothes, on cars, on shoes. I have never really been a person to go out much, but I would tell any 18-year-old person, spend more time on you, not necessarily the people around you that may not be there in 5-10 years. Oh gosh, I had a couple answers to say about this. I don't know, that's all I got right now, so we can keep going.
My biggest thing, and something like I still deal with, is like I've always been a long-term relationship person, but I've always put the person I was in a relationship with and what they wanted to do and their needs above what I wanted to do. And so that like always took precedence, or I stopped myself from doing things because the boyfriend said like, no, I want us to stay together. I want us to be together, or no, we should do this instead. And so, I would say like stick to your plan, put yourself first, and don't let a relationship, like, especially if you're not married, you're like 18, like, that's probably not going to last very long, but like, be selfish, 100% be selfish, and put yourself first and what you want to do first, and, handle your own business. Definitely don't be out here like paying for shit all the time. I don't do that anymore, but like, did that all through my 20s too, and could have been like a lot more smarter with my money instead of tricking on boyfriends and shit.
I wanted to add something.
Don't be in a rush to move out. Yes.
Stay living with your parents. Save money as if you're paying rent. Mm-hmm. Do that. I'm telling y'all. And then another thing that I was going to add on too is don't be in such a rush to figure it out, because when I was 18, I went through so much stress because I just didn't know what I wanted to do. So I actually went to school for medical assisting, and that would cost me like $30,000 in student loans, and it took that to figure out that I didn't want to work in medicine. But you're only 18. Like, this is literally the beginning of your life, so don't be in such a rush to figure it out, because it's going to come. And when you do have ideas for what you want to do, you want to have that money saved so that you can invest in yourself.
How to flip items online like eBay? I don't know. I don't flip stuff. Anybody?
I don't really do this. I've done it a couple times actually, but I know people that do flip things on eBay. They're literally just either finding items in thrift stores, yard sales. It's really about like being able to find the value and stuff. There's somebody on here, I'm not really sure what his ad name is. I feel like it might be Coach Joe Hart. I'm not 100% sure, but whoever this person is, has bought mugs for like 50 cents and then sold them for $10, so it's kind of something to do like on the side. You might find like a flip that you can sell for a lot of money, but I know it's like inching your way to the money.
What degrees do y'all hold if you're comfortable answering?
I ain't got no degrees.
I dropped out of high school. I dropped out of college. I have exactly 0 degrees.
I've dropped out of college like 5 or 6 times.
This is my last year for my bachelor's, so I have my degree in business and marketing, and I started my MBA in January.
Oh, good for you.
I do not have a degree yet. So, yeah.
I have a PhD, a player hating degree. Ari, in regard to niche advertising site I asked about earlier, it's to make businesses easy to find.
What does that mean?
Okay.
That's probably
I don't mean to be an asshole, but I have no idea what you're talking
We
about.
get so many comments, you guys. You have to be specific.
And I feel like alive and like the short amount of comment space you have to talk about what you're trying to talk about isn't enough space. So just send me a DM, and I'm busy this weekend, I'm traveling next week. As I can answer, I will do my best. Okay.
Better yet, ask on a timeline so other people can benefit
Yeah,
from
at
it
me.
too.
There you go. What did y'all do to gain followers, trust, or influence others to believe in the information you're providing?
I think you really just have to
Speak
Yeah,
from
you have to-
experience.
Yeah, speak
Yeah.
from experience. Like, don't guess. You have to know what you're talking about. For me, at least, I'm sure it happened for you guys too. The followers just come organically when you share your experience, your stories, what you're learning, what you're going through, your failures. People will relate to that, and they will want to hear more from you because they're going through the same things.
If you don't know, you can always be honest and say you're experimenting, you're learning something, and people like to follow along on that journey with
This
you
was
as
an
well.
experiment, this live.
Yes.
You
Right.
texted us like, hey, I have an
This
idea.
morning.
Yep. This was orchestrated this morning. Yep.
I was gonna make a joke.
And
That show
one
that
thing-
face.
One thing I'll add to that is don't be all Hollywood. Like, I'll respond to anybody who messages me asking a question, like, depending on if you could just book me if it's better to do it that way. But for the most part, I will sit there and talk to you. A lot of times, a lot of like young people ask me life advice, and I'll respond. Like, I will sit there and talk with you and just check in on you if I remember to do it. But for the most part, don't be all Hollywood. And then people gonna gravitate towards you. They're gonna tell their friends like, hey, this person is 23 and she's doing X, Y, and Z, and I want to be doing the same thing. And eventually, it just gravitates towards you. And just keep being authentic, be real.
I say be honest, be genuine, because people gonna test you. They're gonna see like if you really doing what you're doing. And like for example, like you could be starting, I don't know, a clothing business, and you could be telling people you're gonna do it, and then somebody's watching. They might not comment, they might not follow you, but they're watching you. And it's not always on social media. It could be that family member who wants to help, but they want to see you taking it seriously first, or it could be that friend who wants to just make sure you're taking it seriously. So people are always watching. You might not. Me personally, I don't really care about followers, but
Don't
I
mean
think it
anything.
helps.
The number doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, that's what I
Engagement
mean.
is
That's what I
everything.
mean.
Yeah.
Number. Yeah.
For me, like if you don't at least say like, "Hey Ari," and then start your question. Like if you just like are in there like.
Put me on.
All right, boom.
I don't think you guys realize what you're asking for when you like DM people. Like some of you are asking for like an entire like business model or business plan or like an entire marketing strategy that could take hours and hours to
Try to ask
do.
questions that we can answer in like 5 minutes or
Yeah,
less.
but like at least start with like, "Hey," "Hey Ari."
How you doing today?
Yeah,
How are you?
like people think, I think people stop seeing people when they get to like a certain follower amount or exposure as a human being. And like, we're all human. We all have bad days. We all want to be treated like people. We all want that like baseline respect, And so I think if you just like come like decent, right? And like, don't bombard me because then I feel bad and guilty I didn't answer it and then I just leave it alone. On lead generation for high ticket sales.
Product.
Yeah, that's, I don't know. I have $0 to my name. Can I start with real estate?
Go Uber.
Hey,
Save some money.
hey, look, I just talked about this on timeline.
Right.
You ain't got real estate takes capital or credit. If you ain't got no money, you just said you ain't got no money. If you got credit, all right, you may be able to do something. But if I'm just guessing, if you ain't got no cash, your credit probably not popping like that either. Just being honest. I'm guessing, by the way. So if you ain't got neither, you don't need to think about investing right now. Just being honest, you need to think about building up capital,
And saving.
saving money. How you gonna get some money?
wholesale.
Go wholesale. You know what I'm saying? You got people all on the timeline. You got Brandon. You got Will. You got a bunch of people
Like,
on the timeline.
even wholesaling takes a little bit of money, too.
It takes
you know?
right. It takes a little bit of money, but it's not going to take as much as
Yes.
invest in the amount of property. So just do that.
Don't try and skip steps.
Right,
Like, if
don't
you're not
skip.
ready for that, don't try and be ready for that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because so many people, on the contrary, so many people, if you asked that question, they would have told you, "Oh no, I could get you right." You know what I'm saying? Just pay
Get a
me
job.
X, Y, Z. I'm not gonna tell you that. If you ain't got no money, don't give me no money because I'm gonna give it back to you and just tell you straight up, you ain't ready.
Yeah.
You want me to help you get ready so you can get to that point? All right, that's a different conversation.
How would you scale an e-commerce brand with a 2,500 mailing list and a small budget? What's a small budget, though? Like what? Can you quantify it?
Whatever. You got more mailing list than I do.
If you have an email list, it depends, right? So, like, are they engaged? Have you been nurturing them? Have you been keeping in touch with them? If you have, then I would, build out a sales funnel, and you can use Invisible Selling Machine to get started with that. If it's cold, you need to put them through a re-engagement campaign, probably a welcome sequence, then a nurture sequence, then a sales sequence, and Invisible Selling Machine will walk you through that.
So I would do all of that, nurture your mailing list, and try to funnel them into liking a Facebook page. And this is one of my favorite Facebook strategies. I do this for every single one of my brands. What you want to do, right? This doesn't really require, a big budget at all, which is why I'm suggesting this, because you have a small budget with an e-commerce brand. Once you get as many people as possible from your mailing list over to your Facebook page, you're going to go live with your product. You're going to show people what your product is. It's going to take a little bit of practice. It's going to take a little bit of practice to figure out exactly how to conduct a live that your audience will respond to the best way, but you need to just start doing it. And then you're going to show them what your product is, talk about it, show it to them, and then you're going to ask them to share it for a chance to win the product for free. Now, it's going to be an amazing video, so make sure you have, really good background and everything, really good lighting. They're going to share that to their friends list. Now, every single person that shares the video, 100 new people could potentially watch it. And those are all free leads. And then more people might share the video for a chance to win your product. I love giving stuff away in exchange for like shares or retweets. You guys have probably noticed by following me. And I do it because it works. You know what I mean? It works even better on Facebook. So that's what I would do. I would ask people to share the video in exchange for winning the product. And just make sure you tell them that they have to be following your page as well to be selected as the winner. Obviously, there are many other ways to go about it. That's just one suggestion that I have for somebody with a small budget.
What's the best investment you've made in the last year? Selling my business that I was miserable in, for sure.
That's what I made, was going to see chiropractor.
Chiropractor.
No, but seriously, the best investment I made last year, man, that's a good question.
And myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's my answer. And myself. Just building myself up to be the business woman that I want to be and continuing to grow, but focusing on educating myself, taking care of my body, getting out of my comfort zone, meeting all these new people, networking, and just going after what I really want. So best investment was in myself.
You're right, I like that answer. Cause I'm trying to think of an actual. I'm trying to think of which one was my favorite one, but that's a better answer. Like investing in building a network. People. Like, I ain't know none of y'all last year, right?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I ain't know nobody here last year. I knew her. I mean,
none of
y'all. All right, your best investment in the last year.
Separating myself from people who weren't trying to be on the same goals as me, and not even just like being negative. Just if I knew I needed to save X amount of dollars for me to start this new thing on my store, then that might require me to not do the same thing my friends were doing. Or like you were saying earlier about like mindset, my friends might have been thinking a certain different way that wouldn't really benefit on what I'm trying to get to.
Up more.
Sorry, I was trying to be quiet, so trying not to interrupt.
And then the other best investment, honestly, was just, it's going to sound probably cheesy or corny, was just, honestly, just stop really just being on YouTube for entertainment, or like being on my Xbox for playing games, and just actually like using it to watch interviews, educating myself on like trying to do different things, different tactics, different negotiating tactics. And instead of like every time I want to play a video game, I tell myself, okay, this hour of me playing a video game, I could be using this to go read a book, or I can go do this and potentially make a new client, or building a relationship for a bigger net of who I'm trying to get people to my store. So, that's what I would say.
For me, my answer is going to fall a little bit more in line with what Deanna said. I started really building like my Twitter audience last February. I've been on Twitter for a long time, but I used to use it, you know, to like read funny stuff, to like tweet bullshit with my friends. I used to follow a couple e-commerce people, and I would always say like, oh my gosh, like I wish I had an audience for this because I have so much to say, but I wouldn't tweet about it because I didn't really have an audience. And then one day in February, it was actually for a President's Day sale that I had. I was like, you know what, let me just live tweet this. So I started tweeting at like 8 o'clock in the morning, and you know, I shared screenshots of what the beginning of my day was. It was like $600 at 8 a.m. and I ended up doing, obviously I had a strategy. It wasn't random. It was already planned. I did $25,000 in a 2-hour flash sale, and I tweeted that, and that tweet kind of went viral a little bit. I gained some followers off of it, and I got scared and I deleted it. Because I was like, this is uncharted territory. Like, I don't want people knowing who I am, what I do. The internet's weird. Fun fact, I actually turned that thread into my 30K strategy guide that I sell now. You can find it on my website. I think the best thing that I've done in the last year is put myself out there and start that first thread, because I was able to connect, you know, with such amazing people. I forget who in like this group I found first on Twitter, but you know, I just paid attention to what they were talking about, who they were engaging with. I started following more people, engaging with them, and this little like community that I found / created and been part of on Twitter is definitely the best thing that's come in the last year.
What about starting a business with little to no money? I think the easiest low to no cost thing is doing a service-based business where you're trading your time for money. People like to shit on that, but it's like one of the easiest things to start. You can make a lot of money doing it from the get-go.
You can learn new skills with very little money.
Yeah. And so like that's like virtual assistant. That's how I got started. That's something I thought didn't cost me anything to manage someone's inbox, right? I mean, the event which helped me learn that, but the actual like service itself, like it doesn't cost you anything to manage someone's calendar or, you know, filter their inbox or answer customer support emails for them.
And another thing that I would suggest, if you're good with design or if you're willing to learn design, Canva, Photoshop, you can start selling on Etsy today. You can start selling digital invitations, thank you cards, wedding cards. And then what happens is you just create the design, right? And then if you create a PDF file, this is what I used to do. You can rewatch this live to hear about it earlier in this video, but you can create a PDF file where they can edit it themselves. So you literally just create the file one time, and then they edit, and then they can print it out with whatever service they want. And, you know, if you're not good with design, you can definitely learn it. Everybody that's good with design learned it. And just another thing, like if you don't have money, you have to be prepared to invest a lot of time.
Something someone just did that was like slick, like good slick. I was like, all right, like I'm going to pay attention to this person because I like what they did. They saw that I started adding stuff to YouTube in the last week, and they noticed that I didn't have any thumbnails. And so they basically pitched me. They made one thumbnail for me, and they hit my DMs, and they were like, I noticed you're doing YouTube. Like, I follow you. I love what you're doing. Can I exchange doing, like, you know, your thumbnails for a month in exchange for, like, a call or two with you? And I was like, you know what, like,
Great
that
idea.
That was proper. I need that. I'm not design savvy at all. I know it'll help with YouTube. And, like, they don't know this yet, but I'm going to, like, you know, pay them for their work and still do the calls with them. And so, like, if they keep doing a good job and they're consistent and showing up, like, you know, they have monthly work with me as long as I'm uploading stuff to YouTube.
So another thing that I wanted to say that you just made me think of, my husband is a videographer. And he's super low-key, you guys, but he's Gunna's videographer, okay? And he was in the Astro Tour with Travis Scott. Gunna traveled with them. He's super low-key. He's not really on social media that much, but he did something super, super amazing. And back before he could get paid work, he would look into artists that were coming out to our city, and he would pay to get into these concerts, right? Sometimes have like a fake media badge or find a way to get one, or have the confidence and say like, hey, I'm media for this person. They would let him in. He would make his way to the front. He would shoot the video, okay, edit the video, do it all for free. And then he would put like proof over it. And then he would send the video to the artist, and he would say, you know, he would turn it around the same day. He would get home at 2 o'clock in the morning, be up until like 5, editing the video. He's super urgent with everything he does, which I think is important. And then he would send the video to them with, you know, proof over it. You obviously don't want to send it without a copy mark. I forget.
The watermark.
Watermark,
Yeah.
yes. You don't want to send it without the watermark because, you know, nothing is stopping them from just taking the video. But he would be like, you know, hey, I made you this. If you like it, I'll sell it to you for X amount of dollars. More often than not, who doesn't want an amazing video from their show? You know, so they would pay him the money after he performed the services. And then obviously, you know, he doesn't do that anymore. But that's how he got started with that. So, you know, if you do photography, you can go, you know, shoot concerts. You can shoot for people. You know, you can even go up to, they have those cameras now that connect to Wi-Fi. So you can even go up to travelers if you live in a high tourist area. You can say, hey, I'll take your picture. You know, if you like it, I'll send it to you or whatever. You know, so there's so many ways that you can do something for free and then get the payment for it afterwards.
We talked about money and credit and starting businesses. How do you establish and maintain professionalism with clientele? If you... Wait, hold on. I was going to be a smart ass. If you're not sure how to be professional with clientele, go to like a really nice department store and just observe how they interact with people and treat people. Like my dad, you know, was a VP regional for Macy's, and he was at Robinson's May before that. I don't even think Robinson's May is around anymore, right? But he was so big on customer service, and as a kid, I used to love going to his job and see him like manage and operate the stores. And so like even things as small as like when you're giving change back to someone, putting it in their hand instead of just like throwing it on the counter to them or putting it on the counter, putting the receipt in their hand. When you're like putting their clothes away and bagging it, instead of like reaching over the counter, he would have the associates hold it, bring it out to them, and, you know, hand it to them like that. You know, so I think just like going into professional environments and just observing and like really receiving that experience will help you to, you know, learn that and then provide it for your customers as well.
Eye contact is also huge. Smiling.
Yes, eye contact.
Don't be a robot. You know, hey, how are you? Nobody wants to hear that because it's not genuine, you know.
Don't be rude.
Yeah.
You know. All right, guys, we're going to wrap these up. What skill would you attract you? What skill would you...
We're ready to wrap this up.
I'm getting tired. What skill would you attribute to your success?
Perseverance.
No one can outwork me. Like, I truly and honestly believe that. I don't know everything, but I can figure anything out, and like, just know, like, I will always get it done. No one's gonna outwork me.
I don't know if it's just perseverance, though. I can't really put this into one word. If y'all have a word for this, please let me know. But my whole life, like, I've always believed that I could do anything. And I don't know if that comes from, you know, like, being an immigrant from a third world country and seeing, like, all of the opportunities that are available to us here that so many people unfortunately take for granted. But, you know, I was never supposed to come here. I wasn't even supposed to be born, first of all. So that's like a whole other story. But I've just always, deep down inside of me, always believed that I could do whatever it is. And no matter what obstacle I came across, I could figure it out. And, you know, that has carried me through so much.
Anybody else?
I would just say being able to think long term. That's the thing I would most attribute to where I'm at now. Because it's so many times, especially like when you're young, you can fuck a lot of you can fuck a lot of your situation up. Just not thinking long term, thinking about just right now. What can I do right now? But being able to see like, all right, how would this affect a couple years from now, or where I want to be a couple years from now? Being able to just see that, have a vision. Is basically what I'm saying. Being able to have a vision is the most important thing to me.
And that ties into a lot of what we said about the advice we would give our 18-year-old selves, like me buying that brand new car that I shouldn't have because I couldn't really afford it. Long-term vision is huge.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off.
And I would say being fearless, because there's going to be a lot of people telling you, like, what you're doing, you shouldn't do it. You should go the traditional route. You're not going to make it. All type of different negative things. And just being fearless enough to do what you're doing and believing in it yourself when nobody believes in you is like the most important thing, because it's going to be so many days that test you, so many days you want to give up, so many people coming at you from different angles, and you just having the courage and the strength to just push through it and keep going towards like your end goal and keep having vision is like more than I can ask for. So just being fearless.
What was the question again? Like,
What skill would you attribute to your success?
Just knowing that anything I'm really heavy on word, and like if you say you're gonna do it, then do it. And I just noticed that for me personally, I feel like that's been my really strong ability, where everything I say, it comes. And it's just, I think it's because I'm so, I guess, hard on myself, where I want to make sure I do it right the first time, so I don't got to do it again. That I live by that phrase. It's like everything I do, it gets done.
That's huge for me. If anybody knows me, they know, like, don't tell me you're going to do something and not do it. And if you can't do it, at least communicate so we can figure out a game plan. But I feel like if you take those, like, key things that we all talked about, it's very easy to win and get success because most people won't do that stuff. And it's like the basics. All right, guys, so we're going to end the questions here. If we didn't answer your question, you can @ us and we'll do our best. We are at an event this weekend. If you can't make it, everyone's like all tired and stiff.
Seriously.
If you're not able to make it this weekend, there's recordings. You can find them at learnwithari.com/yeshoneyreplay. There's a link there. You can buy, the recordings. It'll take a few weeks to edit, but you'll still get them, so don't miss out. And yeah, I think that's it.
Feel free to ask any of us questions. I don't know about y'all, but I get a ton of DMs, okay? I recently turned them back on, so they've been coming in like crazy, but I answer almost every single question that comes on the timeline because I want other people to benefit from it too. If you ask me the question in my DMs and it's going to be like a long answer, I might not do it just for you, no offense, but if you ask me on the timeline, I know it's going to benefit, 16,000 people that follow me. So I'm more likely to answer you there. No offense.
I also prefer timeline questions over DMs. DMs like stress me out.
Yeah. And don't ever say, hey. Come on, nobody's replying to that.
Yeah, or just hi.
Like, what do you want? Say hi first. But
what do you need?
Know what you want.
Let's be efficient here. What do you need?
Thank you guys so much for watching.
Thank you.
Love this.
If you sign up through the link that we've been posting today, I'll email out the replay. It's this same link. You can come back to it also. But if you just want to save that in your inbox, go ahead and then make sure you select that you want to sign up for Caroline's list and Deanna and Xavier so that you can hear from them. She has tons of information on e-commerce. They have a whole podcast and real estate investing stuff.
Podcast. Make sure you check that out.
Yeah, definitely check it out. And, keep sharing this.
We're doing giveaways. I'm going to pick one person that retweets this. I'll pick tomorrow morning, and I'm going to pick somebody to win my entire e-commerce bundle that I sell for $285.
And I will give away a 30-minute consult call. You can do business, marketing, systems, whatever you need that I can help with. So we'll announce those tomorrow morning. And so if you can tweet your biggest takeaway from this, with a comment within the retweet, so more people can see it, that'd be dope. And if you're at the event tomorrow, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
All right, Bye.